So I was taking a walk today and I found a lottery ticket. Now, before you get too excited and think that this story is going somewhere very, very, very special, it's not. I found a lottery ticket that had already been scratched off and it was basically completely useless, as most lottery tickets are. But it was one of the most interesting lottery tickets I've ever seen, and here's why. This lottery ticket was strictly a crossword puzzle. And the way that it worked was that you had a whole bunch of words that were all laid out. And if you could make any of those words, then you would get money. But the way that you could make those words was by a given set letter list that was on the far side. So you had a couple letters to use, and any of those letters that you used for the puzzle to actually make a word would give you money. The one catch was that you had to start at a certain point. And you had to make words branching from that point. And you could go up, you could go down, and from that point, after that one word that you started on, you could branch off to the left and right and basically everywhere across the paper. But it was one word, and you had to start with another word that was cross-section to it. And that's what started the entire crossword. What I found very interesting about this is that the letters that it gave you couldn't even spell the first word that you needed to begin the rest of the puzzle. There wasn't enough letters to actually even try to play the game. Just didn't have the letters. You couldn't do it, which meant that before anything was scratched off at all, you didn't have the right resources. It was handed to the customer saying, yeah, there's a chance, but underneath the facade that said there was hope, there was nothing. One of the easiest tactics that I've seen Satan use to lure people into what he says is right is this appeal claiming that this easy thing is going to give you what you desire. A small payment now is going to give you the world soon. But here's the problem with that. Just like that lottery ticket, Satan sells bogus cards. If the guy were a character in a TV show, he'd be that swindler that always has 3 cups and an ace up his sleeve. No matter how many times you follow that ball, somehow it's gone. And no matter how many times you try to have the perfect hand, he seems to always have one slightly higher than yours. At the end of the day, finding a lottery ticket on the side of the path that doesn't actually win any money isn't that surprising, right? I mean, the odds really aren't that good that you would actually win something in the lottery anyway. So having a winning ticket suddenly just show up on the side of the path where you didn't invest anything into it is even more unlikely. But as unlikely as that is, we seem to play worse odds when it comes to how we live our life. We're constantly chasing after things that don't end up giving everything that they promised. That accolade that we thought would look so good on our shelf just suddenly pales in comparison to our neighbors that they got the same week. Or that relationship that we were pretty sure was going to actually give us the love that we deserve just suddenly turns into another reminder that you're just not worth it. And on and on and on the list goes. And on and on and on the losses go. And I wonder if we would change something about our lives if we actually knew the odds that we were playing. If we could actually talk to everyone that has bought into the lie that Satan has a better card than what God offers. If his lottery system of winning something that's better than what God promises is going to happen, if that was actually worth playing at all. And I think that if we were able to see that, number for number, tit for tat, I think it would be very clear that the game that we often play by pursuing the pleasures of the world and the things that are promised to fulfill us, they often pale in comparison to the tales of those who didn't have to gamble anything, but simply followed the promises that God was giving them and the results that came from that following. And that's why I can say with confidence that I've seen the promises of God play out and actually give what they promise. There is no 1 in 10,000 will receive this great prize. It's do this and I will be with you. Of course, it's hard to talk about a video like this without saying at the very end, may the odds be ever in your favor, but let's be real. If you've seen what I've seen, there's only one way to actually live life and have the odds actually be in your favor. And if you don't know what that is, and you don't know what I'm talking about, then I would love for you to comment down below, what are the odds? Just say that little phrase, what are the odds? And I would love to have a personal conversation with you about what I'm talking about. But for now, thank you for joining for day 14. Looking forward to tomorrow, the halfway point. Yes. If you can't tell, I am a little bit excited that I'm actually getting through this because accomplishing this at all is a big deal. So, thank you for joining me on the journey and for making it worthwhile. I've loved the interactions that we've gotten. I've loved some of the comments and some other people outside of the YouTube channel just talking to me about different videos. It's been great. It's good. I love it. And we're going to keep going. So I'll see you on day 15.